Hey, aloha, and welcome back to our exploration of exposure. This is our fourth and final variable that you can manipulate when you're setting your exposure, and this is called filtration. It literally is talking about putting filters in front of the camera lens, and in this case what we're using are called neutral density filters. Now, this is external to the camera. The camera itself has got the three variables we've talked about so far, which are, of course, your f-stop, your shutter speed, and your ISO. But there are times when there's simply too much light for you to do what you want to, even with those three controls at your fingertips. When you're working outside on a bright, sunshiny day, sometimes you can't get the exposure you want to use because there's just too much light. And this is where neutral density comes in. The name neutral density means it doesn't have any color, it only has darkness. You can think about this as sunglasses for your camera. So I have a set right here of 6 neutral density filters. Now this first one that I pulled out is really quite dark. Where's my close-up spot? There we go. And you can see it's almost opaque. You can see my fingers through it, but only barely. And this one is actually 10 stops of neutral density. That's a lot of neutral density. You might use this if you were trying to get motion blur of clouds in a really bright sky or of waves crashing on a sunlit beach. This one is much more modest. Much less neutral density. And if I look on here, this is actually 2 stops of neutral density. So this is something you can easily see through and easily work with. And it would just let you manipulate your exposure a little bit, well, by 2 stops. These are threaded so they actually screw onto the end of the lens. This particular filter obviously is too large to fit on this lens, but you get the idea. So neutral density is often left out of these discussions. People will talk about the triangle of exposure, and they're talking about aperture and shutter speed and ISO. They don't talk about neutral density, and that's a shame because neutral density is the only one of these things that you get to use without having something else change. Which we'll talk about when we get into the discussions of depth of field and and motion blur, rather. But anyway, I just wanted you to know that there are, in fact, 4 ways to control your exposure, and that neutral density filters are one of those ways. If you're interested in playing with these, let me know, and we will see what we can do about getting a set that fit the lenses you like to work with.